started last week.
Welcome back to the Sakuga Builds cast, where we deep dive into Lego. All the different aspects, some more than others. I'm Daniel Ewa, joined by my co-host Methuselah. And today we have an exciting topic, but before we get in, minifig of the week. Let's go. Matt, start us out.
Okay. Well, this one, it really just spoke to me this week. That when I have it on display, and every time I see it, I just kind of look at it. But it's Peter Porker, aka Spider Ham, aka Spider Pig, and bro, just look at the mold on this head, like literally, this is so dope, and it's fitting because the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer came out. We got some multiverse type stuff. We could see this in live action. But they might not do that just because, Into the Spider-Verse kind of already did that. So they're probably trying to differentiate from that. But for the sake of this episode today, we're talking all about the symbiote. So I got pork grind too. You know what's up. I already know what's up. But yeah, that's my minifigure of the week. This week. What about you?
Been a couple weeks since I've done Ninjago, so we'll do another one. This is the minifig of the week, the Hydro Bounty.
That's not a minifigure, that's a whole set.
Thanks for your astute observation. Actually, today's minifig of the week for me is the Woobot, as in the Sensei Woobot.
Oh my
from the Hydro Bounty season of Ninjago called Seabound. No one knows what the season number is anymore. Not even the creators say that they know what the number of the season is. So, the Woobot it's just fun and quirky. So for those listening, it's a set of minifig legs with a brick, just a brick on top that has studs on the side where there's a printed tile. It looks like Sensei Wu's face on a TV and with a Sensei Wu hat.
Bro, you're trolling, bro. Out of all the minifigures you could have done, all the August 1st ones you haven't done, Energy Nia, the video ones, really?
That's because this is something fun and different, unique, not just the standard typical minifig. And it also makes me think of, if anybody grew up with Alpha Team, there was something like this, like a TV with legs called TV, appropriately named, and who then became a more humanoid minifigure in the Arctic Expedition side of Alpha Team. And then
that's not even a minifig.
Yeah, it became it's basically a minifig. And then in Hidden Side, TV came back, but cutesified.
Bro.
And now this just... I mean, I know that the designer of the Hydro Bounty, Nick van Slagmat, was probably inspired by TV because he also designed the Phantom Fire Truck and Hidden Side that the new TV character comes in. That's all I had to say about that. Little history.
I would say that Woobot, just because I have minifigure legs, it's not a minifigure.
Bruh, literally, Brickset had a whole article about what constitutes a minifig, which was interesting, but basically they came down to okay, if it has two parts...
If it has two parts...
Then it's a minifig. No, two components, either the legs, torso, or head. If it has two of those three, then it's a minifig.
Okay, so I'm going to get the AAT and I'm going to put little minifigure legs at the bottom and a head on top, and this whole thing will be a minifigure.
Yeah, no, sure, why not? We can do a tier ranking list of all the worst minifigs, and that'll be at the bottom.
Brickset can't decide. They aren't. Brickset is just Brickset.
They run the show.
No.
They had a great article.
Determine
Star Wars sets. It was great. Okay, what?
If I say it's a minifigure, it's a minifigure because they call me the minifigure master, Methuselah. Okay.
Who does?
Literally ask anybody. Remember?
Anybody? Okay.
On Reddit. Anyways, enough of this Woobot type stuff. We got this whole video to get into. Enough of this Woobot type stuff, bro. Come on, bro.
Yeah, I can tell you're excited. We're finally talking about something you're pumped for, not just Ninjago, Monkey Kid, all these things I like.
Yeah, this is the Monkey Kid ranking. How Daniel was just going off and on, which is a good thing. it was a good thing, but you had so much to say about it. I don't know if I have that much to say, but this is my equivalent to that, maybe. Even though Monkey Kid's a whole theme, this is sort of a sub-theme of a theme. But we are actually talking about every single symbiote / Clintar Lego set. Symbiote is the earthly term that humans gave the symbiote alien. So that's just the term they're called on Earth is symbiotes. That's just what they called them. But later on, we learned that the species is called Clintar. So we're talking about Venom and Carnage, basically. It's the only ones that are in Lego form. And also Pork Grind and Iron Venom, but those are variations of Venom. So, of the Venom symbiote. So that's what we'll be talking about for sure. I do actually have a tier list maker as well. If you want to use it yourself, I'll link it down in the description. So every set that includes a symbiotic anything, which there's only about 17. That's a decent amount. But let's just go ahead and get started. We got them all lined up. We're just gonna rank them what tier they are. So I'm just gonna pull this up right now, like just straight into it. What are your thoughts on Venomsaurus Ambush?
I think encapsulates a lot of what makes Venom fun as an idea, as a concept. Because if you think about it, Venom himself, he's a symbiote, he's something that can cling on to other living creatures and become one with it, become one with the host. And so, yeah, it's not just going to be only people all the time. You're going to latch on to other animals, and why not have it be Tyrannosaurus Rex? So this is a celebration of Venom as an idea. And I wish they did more like this, where it's a creature and not just, oh, it's a Venom minifig, but it's a symbiotic relationship with an animal or other creature. That'd be awesome. Yeah. So I'd rank this one highly. For most of these, the Spider-Man centered side builds are fairly lackluster, but the little egg side build and the Venomsaurus itself really puts us over the top.
Yeah, the little egg side build was so cool. Like I never read like any Venomsaurus type source material, so I'm not sure if it like clinged onto actual T-Rex from like, because you know Marvel, they have the Savage Land where it's sort of like a prehistoric area, or if it's just Venom formulated into that. But either way, it's a reference, it's a thing, and it's awesome. And the minifigures, speaking of Peter Porker, it comes with him, I guess, like just why not? And Iron Spider. So Iron Spider's not way crazy detailed, but like this is, as far as Venom minifigures, it's one of my favorite ones as far as his accessories. It just has the 4 coming from the back and a really cool scythe type weapon. So like this one, like you said, the side build is like kind of like eh. And that's how all the Spider-Man things, because I just view it as they put in something to build for Spider-Man. Just because it's Lego, you need something to build. But as far as what you could do for a Lego set, this is like so good. So I would personally like put this really, really, really high, like even like this. Honestly, just how I don't think it's the best one. I think there's a different best one, but I think it'd be like the bottom of S tier, top of A tier, honestly.
Okay, I would say yeah. For as far as Venom sets go, it's an S tier Venom set.
Yeah, definitely. It's like, I think it's like almost a perfect Venom set for real. We got another really good one back to back, because Spider-Mech versus Venom. This is one like, it's just one that I feel like was supposed to happen. It's like a big version of Venom, because you know, and it's the same deal with the one thing about these two sets is that the Spider-Man side build does complement the Venom build pretty well on both of them. My main issue is that this isn't really like a thing. Spider-Man's vehicles aren't much of a thing besides a little bike, a little jet, and like Ultimate Spider-Man. But it does come with Spider-Gwen as well, and Aunt May, and it looks super good on display. So this one's like it's sort of like a top of A tier thing for me.
It's really awesome. I agree with you that the Spider-Man thing is it's whatever. We just barely watched Spider-Man 1 for the first time in a very, very long time. And it's very entertaining with Green Goblin and Spider-Man and everything. But I just I was just imagining it, what if like this mech shows up in Spider-Man No Way Home? I could see that happening with Stark Tech and everything. Oh, let's get a Spider-Man buggy. Why not?
Well,
It would be
oh, you want the Spider-Man mech to show up?
no. But you know, in the current MCU version of Spider-Man, something like that could show up, like, oh, you know, Tony Stark Spider-Man mech or something.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah. Or it's like, oh, Wakanda technology.
Yeah,
There's
you
an
could just
explanation for
do
everything.
whatever.
Yeah.
I love this depiction of Venom though. It's really cool, and kind of the very organic nature of the head. It's a very fun build. I built the one that you have or took it apart. But
Yeah. It's
just
dope.
the way they got the shaping. I believe this was done by Chris Perrone, who also did the Demon Bull King.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I mean, the legs were pretty similar to Demon Bull King, and like yeah, even the head how it's kind of like hunched. The structure is similar to Demon Bull, so I would not be surprised. But I'm a big fan, big fan of this one. So for now, let's put it right here, for sure. So we did try to do these slides in random order, but we got two really good ones back to back. But there's actually another really good one, which is the Venom Bust. So I'll let you go ahead and talk about this one first.
So I haven't built this myself, but I watched you when we built. We had a building party, and you built this one, and it's interesting. It's the first kind of head/bust build that any of us have ever done, and it makes for a really good one. I was a little surprised at how the eyes are shaped, because when you think of Venom, you usually think, at least I usually have always thought of his kind of classic comic appearance, where you have the eyes that are super kind of big and kind of go over the back of the head, whereas in this Lego bust depiction, the eyes are quite a bit narrower than we normally see. And you could be like, well, it's a symbiote, it can change shape, and maybe he's just like squinting or grimacing really hard. So I don't love how that looks, but the mouth and everything else is exceptional.
Yeah, like I totally agree with the eyes. I think I don't know how else they would have done it. Like the thing is that you look at like a picture of Venom in the comics, so you look at this like, oh, their eyes are different. But when you look at this, it's so obviously Venom still that it works, and it's like I don't think of that when I look at just the set. If I was comparing maybe a reference picture, maybe I would think about it, but it's just like the fact that this set is even a thing in the first place. This and Carnage, which we'll get to, but like the fact that these were even a thing is that was made is super cool. So I put these on sort of like the lower of A tier. I definitely say this Spider Mech is better. I mentioned this before, but I wish this came with the minifigure. Like, I know there's so many Venom minifigures, but like I feel like all these display type sets should come with, you know, some sort of minifigure. That's just how I feel. But yeah, it was fun to build. There's no play value, but the build was super fun. The box was super cool. You get the whole experience, and yeah.
I actually thought of what you just said about having display minifigs, because we had been talking about it lately with the Republic gunship and whether that should have had more of a display aspect to it with the figures. And today it was just revealed the Lego Batman tumbler.
Oh yeah.
Basically like a UCS tumbler from the Dark Knight, and what do you know, it has a pretty nice little display stand thing with Joker and Batman, and that's awesome when you could get that. Even though they're not minifig scale sets, having something to represent, like imagine with Voltron, if that had, you know, the classic minifigs. It's not the purpose of the set, right? But for something that's specifically for collectors, it is kind of cool to show off, oh, here's the figure version that's representative of it.
Yeah. If it was really cool, it'd be like even more detailed minifigure for Venom, but that might be too much. But that I just think that's just my personal beliefs. They should all the non minifigure scale things should have a minifigure for display. I don't know.
Yeah.
But this next one's kind of mid in my opinion, but you can't deny these minifigures. This Venom crawler, this Spider-Man build is absolutely terrible. it's cute. Like, it's cute, and I'd rather be like something like a little more tiny, just for funsies. But bro, Iron Venom Carnage, and the accessory that Carnage comes with is my favorite one. Like, that's the one I have him hold on display, is this one, this giant mace. But bro, it's a fun little set. Like, it's cool with the 4 eyes on the front, and it's basically like the Spider-Man crawler except Venom version. It's really just for the figures, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, the Iron Venom is awesome. It's an exclusive version of that minifigure, only in this set. So worth it just for that if you're into minifigs. And the Carnage is really nice. The one thing that was kind of disappointing with this one is the set of legs. Because when you go to move it, they're designed to all kind of move up and down in a spider-like motion. And when I tried it for the first time just a couple months ago, when you had it on display, the legs, I expected them to operate like the Hive Crawler from Galaxy Squad. If you've ever seen the Hive Crawler, it's an insectoid giant set with 6 legs, and it works really well, especially on, you know, a hard surface. You roll the bug, and all of the legs go up and down. Whereas this one, it can be very finicky.
Yeah.
And all the legs can be also individually kind of positioned and then moved up and down, and it just kind of creates for an uneven play experience. But it does look very nice on display, just kind of as like Venom taking over a spider.
Yeah, it's definitely not fun to move around. It's super flimsy and finicky, but it does. I have it on display. It's just, it looks kind of good sitting there. But I put this at like maybe a little beep like here. I don't know. It's just the minifigures are really carrying it. But this next one, I guess I'll start. It's just the Spider Jet versus Venom mech. Really, this is the one good thing about this is Spider-Man Noir. He's in the jet here. The rest is like, I like the jet. I could care less. The Venom build is weird because it looks more mechanical rather than creature-like. So I'm not the biggest fan of the builds, just Spider-Man Noir. So I'd put this like C tier. But what do you feel about this?
Yeah, I agree. The Spider-Man Noir is so cool, but that's really the main redeeming quality. Jets are really fun. I love Lego jets, Ninjago ones, a lot of fun. So if you're a Spider-Man fan, you also love jets, then that's nice. But otherwise,
yeah. But if you're a Spider-Man fan, you're like, oh, when does he have a jet? You know,
when did Thanos have a copter?
Well, he
I
did.
Mean, anything that happens.
Well, he did.
In the comics.
I'm
That's
sure.
what I'm saying. Like, it's probable that Spider-Man had something like this at some point.
Yeah, probably. It's just like not really a thing, you know. I'm gonna put this right about here for now. But yeah, I mean, I still got it for the figure, so there's something to be said. Well, this Spider-Man and Venom Brickheads, $1 billion set if you want to buy it now. But I think it's so like cool, good looking. Like the Spider-Man looks so good, the Venom looks so good. Like I wish I had this so bad.
It's too bad that sometimes such. What?
Go ahead.
Wait, what's so funny?
No, go ahead.
Well, all I was gonna say was that it's too bad that some of these very desirable things, such as these brickheads or other super desirable exclusive minifigs, are locked behind Comic-Con.
Paywall.
It is nice to have exclusives if you go to Comic-Con, but the vast majority of LEGO fans are not there, and it's very difficult to get a hold of such things.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying. Like, bro, like I really would want this, but sometimes it does make it kind of cooler. It's more exclusive, but it even hurts even more when it's a minifigure like Howard the Duck, Deadpool, or something. But honestly, this is like the top of like this is like right here for me, honestly.
Really? Because you're like a moderate Brickheads fan, right?
Yeah, but look at these. Look at these. Yeah, Brickheads are like Funko Pops, but minifigures like Funko Pops for me. But these just look so good. I put it like this.
Yeah, A tier.
But yeah, that's that for that. this is just the S tier set of Spider-Man versus Venom and Iron Venom. It was actually a new Iron Venom than the previous Iron Venom because his face is only being half taken over. And pork grind! Pork grind!
This set is crazy. And it's just one of those little, like, Lego store blister packs that you can get in the middle of the store. You have your Harry Potter battle pack, and not really battle pack, you have your Monkey Kid RC Race. And then this came out, and this just blows all of them out of the water as far as just uniqueness, exclusivity, sheer coolness.
Like $7. I don't even, like, that's like the easiest purchase of my life. It's just like, oh my gosh. Like, even these two exclusive minifigures for this cheap, it's like, bro, the easiest purchase of my entire life. But
yeah,
I don't think it's quite on the S tier side of things, but I do think it's like really, really, really cool. The build is just Venom's go-kart, I guess, which is kind of quirky. But it's really just about the figures, so.
Yeah, though, surprisingly, on Brickset, it only has a 3.5 star out of 5. Well, and I do not know why. I'm shocked, actually, at seeing that.
Bro, people are just weird. What else do you want?
I don't know how... Like, is it because it's exclusive to LEGO stores and you can't get it anywhere else? I'm trying to see if anybody's actually put a review. I don't see any actual reviews, just... That's what it's...
They were that salty about this. I don't know. That's their problem, but it's dope.
It's amazing. I would say it's an S tier for the price and the exclusive minifigs. Definitely.
Okay, it's S tier. Easy. They didn't just do more Marvel stuff like this. Just get straight up the minifigs. If it's a Lego store, so be it. I don't care.
That's what we've talked about before. Is Marvel stuff. It's all about the figures, right? Yeah, it's nice to have things to like build and play with and stuff too, but figures, that's why the new Marvel CMF is so hype, coming out tomorrow, September 1st.
I thought it was October.
No, September. So that's hype, and this is just an example of figures not having to be in a CMF to be amazing.
Speaking of figures, this is just weird. It's an older set. No, this is not S tier.
It's not S.
It's not even like a thing. Like, come on. Like, it's like the symbiote itself, but like the heads are kind of killing me, and it's like, I don't know. It's older.
It's a polybag that came out in 2016, and it is bizarre. Spider-Man versus the Venom symbiote.
I don't know where I'd rank this.
It's you gotta appreciate the wackiness of it. Just like having little Venom heads popping out everywhere. That could be something that Venom would do, right? Venom can do anything basically as far as shape.
I guess he could. I don't know when or why, but
yeah, it's probably one of the lower ones for sure.
But yeah, we don't have to spend too much time. I think that head is different than kind of like the current one. Like this is kind of like the current one. Yeah, this is actually a pretty cool head though, with his mouth more closed. This polybag. Do you know what year this came out on?
Check.
Because
it's, older one.
It's cool.
It's 2024. It's set number 242104 for those listening.
But yeah, while he's looking that up, it's definitely cool. It has the black handles to hold those little minifigure handles to hold, and it's like a little symbiote dagger stuff coming out. So this was definitely cool. This came out
this year.
Okay, I never saw this. I don't know where it was.
It's a magazine gift, that's why.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. Because I was gonna say I've never seen those black handles that he's holding. I usually just see those in translucent. But I would definitely put that maybe at least above this guy. Like maybe like this. I don't know. It's just Venom. But you could get like the value. You could get so much better value for Venom, like with this or a whole set, maybe. So those are those two small ones, and then we have the Venom keychain. Which I low-key need this though.
Apparently, keychain is a typo. You have to probably hyphenate it or something. That's weird.
Regardless, thoughts?
It's awesome. I don't think I've ever had a Lego keychain. I don't know why. I think I've always felt weird, like, oh, it's a cool minifig, but it has a thing like metal coming out of its head, and it's all glued together, so you can't do a lot with it. But
Right.
you couldn't have it on your keys, so there's some appeal there. Maybe if they made a Sensei Woobot keychain, I would get that.
Really?
No, that'd be cool.
Well, the thing is, yes, it's weird because you can't. I've only had like the golden minifigure keychain, but this is. I see what you're saying, but this is good because like, oh, I have this minifigure. So this isn't the only one I have where it's bound to this chain, but like, you know, I have much of these. Just help you. You know, if you're feeling down in the day, you could look at Venom and how much he inspires you, and just or maybe. So I'll put this one like right here, like right here.
Yeah.
It's definitely cool for sure, without a doubt. But we're gonna go from the keychain to the Daily Bugle, which does contain just Venom, I believe, not Carnage. Maybe it does have Carnage. I don't know. But yeah, this is just. How could you not put this in S2? You know, because I'm always imagining when I get this, and I will eventually. Like, bro, imagine interacting this Daily Bugle with these two sets. Like, imagine these Venoms interacting with the Daily Bugle. You know.
It says it does have Carnage and Venom. Neither of us have the set yet, but it is so cool.
Not yet, and I will. But yeah, just imagine the other Venom sets just like climbing on this thing. Like, it's just the perfect Marvel set of all time. But the fact it has Venom and Carnage, just a plus. It would be kind of cool if they had a little bit more updated versions, a little bit more detailed Venom and or Carnage. But what can you do?
Yeah, it's basically for people for someone who doesn't own it, based on the pictures and all the figures it has. It is so cool.
And then there's this attack on the spider layer. The only symbiote related thing is that one Venom minifigure and two little Venom tendril blades. So as far as the set in total, I definitely have some way cool minifigures. Green Goblin, Iron Spider, the black and green Spider-Man, like regular Peter Parker suit. But as far as Venom ranking goes, these accessories are pretty bad for him, in my opinion. I wouldn't use those.
Yeah, they definitely did not put much focus on the Venom. But there are so many other cool Spidey suits here. The black and green one, and the kind of casual one, and everything. I feel like this is a set that I would have loved when I was 8 or something. Just like all of the different figures, all of the different play features, the detail. There's a lot going on without a ton of pieces, so it's kind of fun.
Well, yeah, that's definitely who it's like marketed to for sure, and it's a good idea for like something to build because it has the Spider-Man bike in the middle, and that's one of the more used Spider-Man vehicles is just his bike. But as far as Venom goes, is really bottom tier, so because he just feels like thrown in here. Like, really, Green Goblin seems like he fits more in this set. The Venom just kind of feels thrown in here. So, we're going to go ahead and do this bottom tier.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, if you think about the new movie coming out, Let There Be or Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, it seems to be skewing a lot older as far as age group. Like, 8-year-olds probably aren't going to watch it. I'm sure some will, or some will want to. But it's this interesting divide where you're trying to make very kind of edgy graphic movies, but then also having merchandise for Venom and Carnage aimed at young kids.
Yeah.
And I think that's something with other franchises too.
Yeah.
It's so funny, like with I don't know if you saw on Lego.com a couple weeks ago when the Suicide Squad came out, they had an ad on Lego.com. Oh, build your superhero adventures, and just like an image of Harley Quinn minifig. There are no Suicide Squad sets, but they're trying to like promote. They're trying to tie it in because no way is any kid gonna go see. Well, again, probably some would, but shouldn't see the Suicide Squad, and yet they're trying to market the toys for it. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's interesting. Especially the Venom movies, they're PG-13, but there's like some dark things, which is straight up eating people, and then there's like the kid toys. So that's something we talked about with the Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man trilogy. I was thinking about how it's perfect for all audiences, really. Like, it's not, I mean, really, like, for younger audiences it's pretty tame, and older audiences super enjoyable, so they just like hit the mark for everybody. So putting in like Venom, who's a more violent character, would kind of throws things off a little bit. But so maybe it's a good thing that they're separate, that like the Venom movies are kind of its own universe, and so Spider-Man, I mean, they may cross over with this multiverse type stuff, but I don't know. This as far as this set goes, it's thrown in there. And let's move on to Spider-Man Cycle Chase, which is one of the earlier sets. I don't even know if this was the first Venom, to be honest, but this is one of the earlier Venom sets. There's Nick Fury's car, which can fly, I believe, and then I actually am a fan of this bullet bike because that's more accurate to like Ultimate Spider-Man's bullet bike right there, so it's an actual thing, I guess. And
yeah, this came out in 2013.
This is not the first Venom set, right? I swear. I don't know.
I'm checking.
But these globs, these symbiote globs, are super, super cool. I'm actually a big fan of the symbiote globs. It makes it feel more inclusive to Venom. Sometimes he just be leaving his globs, you know. The car is cool. I'm actually a really big fan of this one.
It is cool. I feel like it's one where the side build isn't too tacky or cheesy. Like, everything works together pretty well. And according to Brickset, it is the first Venom tagged set. So coming right off the heels of Avengers, which came out in 2012. This came out in 2013. So having the Nick Fury tie-in is kind of fun. And then Venom and Spider-Man. So it's not something we've ever seen on screen, at least on the big screen, but that's a fun Venom set. And those, I don't know what they would be called now, but I know them as the accessories or the spines from the Lego minifig scale Paraka, Bionicle Paraka. And they were the spines, but they still pop up in everything as like foliage or Venom. I think it's definitely one of his best accessories that we've seen. Is that kind of Paraka spine? It works really well aesthetically.
Was that how that piece started? Was Paraka spine?
Yeah, crazy, huh?
I do think it fits really well, but the one I have is the little black arms. I think I prefer just because they could hold even more stuff, you know. But yeah, this fits him really well. I love the symbiote globs. Yeah, I put it up at bottom of A tier so far. So next we do have the 6+ Spider-Man Spider Car Pursuit, and I think the car is actually pretty cute on this one. As far as if we're ranking on Venom, this is a older Venom head. His accessories kind of weird, but they have to design these things a certain way to make them easy to build for younger audiences. He's standing on this back alley type thing. I don't know. As far as I'm trying to think, like, as far as the audience goes, how good is this? It has a lot of play value.
It's tough when ranking things because it's like, oh, just objectively, which do we think, or subjectively, which do we think are better based on our current age? Or would it be, for their age that they're targeted towards? Because this is a juniors set. It was targeted specifically as part of the juniors theme towards young kids, like 4 to 7. So, and you can tell, like, this car is like a junior speed champion, and then basically it's the first Daily Bugle ever made here on the right.
Oh.
With the concrete slab. So.
Like, it's just weird. Like, I'm 22 sitting here analyzing this little car toy. But no, it needs to be done because it's just like Venom is such a violent character, and we'll get to this. We have like 3 Carnage sets in a row next, the last 3 actually. But Carnage is one of the most, one of the biggest serial killers as far as like earthly Marvel villains go. He's one of the biggest serial killers as far as more like the earthly threats go, you know. So it's just weird having this in like a junior set, and Venom just, you know, eats people, and but it is what it is.
Like,
I think
yeah,
start them while they're young, you know.
If you think back to Spider-Man 3, I think that's a tamer depiction of Venom. We don't really get as much time with it, and when we do see it, it isn't quite as intense as the newer Venom series. But I think it's like the same predicament that Disney has with Star Wars in depicting, you know, space Nazis like stormtroopers and trying to make them marketable as plushies. The key is to not show them doing the terrible things that are implied that they do, right? So for Venom and Carnage, oh, if we don't show all the bad things that they do, and we're just like, oh yeah, he's like super bad guy, then oh, it's okay, we can make cute minifigs of him. I don't know, whatever else. I don't know how that all works, but it is interesting to see that in action.
Yeah, it's just like in this set, it's like obvious good guy, obvious, you know, dark Spider-Man in the back alley, obvious bad guy. But I'll go ahead and put this. I just don't care about it. I think as far as kids go, it has some good play value, so we'll do that. I think it could be a better little side build rather than 3 bricks right here for the back alley, but whatever. Anyways, we're on to, this is the first Carnage set, I actually believe. Carnage Shield Sky Attack. Again, we have some Tendril, Baraki Tendrils, and Miles Morales, which is also dope. I think it's the first Miles Morales as well. So I think the little shield build is cool. It gives you something to interact with, and then the 2 minifigures are dope. So I'm actually a fan of this one.
Well, it's surprising how many of these sets have the blue, red, black color scheme, and so it's very refreshing to see this one. It's like, oh,
yeah,
you have the blue and yellow good guy build with the red bad guy build. That's refreshing, just like how the Nick Fury car chase build was kind of a refreshing departure.
Yeah,
so,
they definitely need to think about that more, just including builds that would actually make sense instead of trying to make a build out of something Spider-Man related and then just include the characters. So definitely cool, and that's done really well with this one, the Daily Bugle, and yeah, this one. So I'll put this up in like right next to Nick Fury's, like right here. Yeah. First Carnage.
Awesome.
It looks dope.
I think first Miles Morales too, because this came out in 2015, which was 2 years before the Into the Spider-Verse movie came out with Miles Morales, so they were ahead of the curve on getting that out, which is awesome.
Yeah, there's Spider-Man and Ghost Rider vs. Carnage is also exactly what you were saying, or what we were just saying. A build that actually makes sense. It's Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider, who has this. I don't know what. I'm not a car guy, so I don't know what the name of the car is.
It's very similar to like a Dodge Challenger.
Yeah, Dodge Challenger. It looks the car looks just like this in the comics. It's kind of simple. The build is kind of simple for the car, but it looks just like that. And then Carnage with I'm a big fan of this. I have this on him on my main one right now. This backpack with these tendrils coming out. I'm a big fan of that. And then you get the Robbie Reyes minifigure as well. He looks amazing. Spider-Man. So this one's, yeah, I'd say like top A tier for sure.
Yeah, I'd say this is like you're saying. This is a really good example of a Marvel set that everything kind of works. You know, you have exclusive figures that are really well done, like the Robbie Reyes and the Venom and the Spider-Man, even though they're not exclusive. They have great accessories. You have a whole blast pack, and you have even the Spider-Man little web shooter things, which are great. And then the car, which is a great build that makes sense. everything about this, I've liked it ever since you got it. And,
Yeah. Yeah, it has the
works on every level.
play value and display value. So
Exactly.
super
This
dope.
could be something enjoyed by kids or adults, you know.
Yeah, definitely. This is it looks cool just displaying Ghost Rider with the car right behind him. So because it's smaller, it can fit. This one I put like
yeah, right after the
yeah, definitely.
the top of it, too.
And that leaves us with the last one, which is the man
Interesting
himself,
one.
Cletus Cassidy, aka Carnage. I have this one. The build is basically the exact same as the Venom Bust, but black teeth,
Yep.
no tongue, and stickers. That's like the only differences. But it's cool.
Yeah.
It was definitely a fun build. It looks like the fact that a Carnage Bust is a Lego set is just crazy to me that they did that, even though it is the same as the Venom one. I ranked it just like this, just right below the Venom one, just because you got the tongue. But this one got the stickers, you know, so it looks a little bit nice with the detail. I'm a fan. Like, this is the fact that this set has actually happened, you know.
It's really cool. When I first saw images of this, I thought it was like a Photoshop job done on the Venom one, because I think we knew about the Venom one first, and then we saw this one. I'm like, wow, that's fun. Like, so they should do that, but they would never do that because it's basically just a palette swap. And yet, if you look now, like, you can even look on Lego.com right now, and they have like a field for color options. They haven't added color options, but they have a field now for several other Lego sets. The Fiat and the Dinosaur Creator 3-in-1 and other sets are going to be offered in multiple color schemes, which is wild. And this came out before any of that, but it is kind of an indicator of things to come in a way, showing like that they're not afraid to make the exact same set basically, but change some of the colors and a little bit of the features, like stickers and a tongue, and sell it under a new name. But in this case, it works really well because, you know, Venom and Carnage look super similar. At least their heads, they're very similar.
Yeah.
So having this, it works.
I mean, Carnage is like basically Venom's cousin, you know, they're basically related. And it was super fun to build, and like you're right. I think it's a budget thing where it's easy on the budget to do the exact same thing with minor changes. That's why they're doing the color swaps. Maybe, I mean, yeah, I'm sure it's cheap to do that, rather than developing a whole different thing. But yeah, it was definitely super cool, and maybe it just made sense for them because they knew that Venom, Let There Be Carnage, was coming out. Because like, why else would they even do these? This is just crazy. But yeah, I put it right up there in A tier. So if we're looking at this, we got the 3 S tier ones, which is interesting because it's a huge Daily Bugle, medium-sized Venomsaurus Rex, and then the tiny Venom Blast Pack. And then A tier starts with this beautiful mag, beautiful, and then we have in A tier we have these 3 vehicles that aren't Spider-Man or Venom related really, but they enhance the characters there. And then you could definitely tell some of the like the bad Spider-Man builds that seem kind of weird, just blue, red stuff kind of on the lower side here. And then the B tier, yeah, it all makes sense to me. But overall, I just think Venom sets are super cool. He's gotten a lot of love in Lego form. He is one of Spider-Man's biggest villains, and he's just his own character now at this rate with his own series. And I still think it could be improved on, however.
So what Venom set would you want to see as a huge Venom fan? You've read a lot of the comics and seen all the movies with Venom in it. What, in your mind, would make an ideal Venom set that they haven't made yet?
Well, looking at let's look at the ones we rank super high. The Venomsaurus Rex is the creature Venom. Something fun to build. It's super awesome. So the very first one that comes to my mind, you already know this, but is Grendel, which is just a nickname for sort of the symbiote dragons that Null is the god of symbiotes, Clintars. He's the one who created all of them. But he has these big symbiote dragons, they kind of just go by the term Grendel because back in Beowulf days, they invaded a castle and they gave it the name Grendel, and then they couldn't find Beowulf, but then Thor came out, and then Thor shocked the giant dragon, and that's actually what disconnected Null from his connection to the Venom symbiote. So there's a whole history behind it, but that'd be so cool just to have the big Venom dragon, have the Null minifigure, and have what you could do, just whatever Marvel figures you want, because King in Black just affected the whole world, you know. So that's something similar to the Venomsaurus, you know.
That would be amazing. I mean, you started making a mock of the Grendel using the Ninjago Overlord Dragon, and I could definitely see how that could work. You've been changing like some of the purple to more black.
Yeah, basically replace the, what's the name of the dragon again?
Grendel?
The
Overlord Dragon?
Yeah, replace the Overlord Dragon, all the blue and purple, with black and a little bit of red, and then a new head and big giant bat wings. That's basically what it looked like. I should maybe pull up a picture, but so that's something I would do. And then also, we rank this so high, we just need more minifigures. Like, as a Venom fan, like a symbiote fan, you know, Scream is a big one. Agent Venom. I don't think we have Agent Venom in Lego Marvel Superheroes, and we did list the Lego Marvel Superheroes symbiote things that are only in the game but not in Lego form. But it's in Lego Marvel Superheroes. Agent Venom, he looks pretty good, but that's something I would definitely do. And then Anti-Venom as well. Agent Anti-Venom. There's a whole pool of things you could choose from. Toxin, Gwenom, Miles Morales, Carnage. There's so many cool minifigures. So I know it's expensive to make new molds and stuff like that, but honestly, for some of these, I'm thinking like you just need new printing, really.
If you think of like the Venom and Carnage figures themselves, they're pretty basic. They don't even have a hairpiece or anything. It's all about the printing and some of the accessories, and that makes the figure.
Yeah, definitely. Like Anti-Venom, you could basically just do a Venom inverted minifigure with just different printing. His face would have like pretty different, but that's what I would do. And as far as like big builds like this, just take more stuff from the Marvel universe in general. Like, don't just think about only Spider-Man and Venom related stuff, because like the Nick Fury car, like Ghost Rider, gets other stuff that will, you know, enhance Venom's experience, you know, some sort of lab, some other iconic locations. I don't know, but that's just what I would do looking into it. Is there anything you would like? What do you think could be improved on, just as a final note?
I think looking at all these in overview, a lot of them skew younger, and so I'm sure you have an interesting divide. You have the old people sets, like the old people sets, like the Busts and Daily Bugle, and then you have the very young sets like the Battle, Spider-Man versus Venom builds. And so I think there's got to be a middle ground, some more things like the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider car, something like that has more display value and play value, so that it can be enjoyed by older and younger fans alike. That's what I would like to see. Also, just more variety in symbiotes, because like you're saying, there's so many Scream and Riot and so many different symbiotes that would look really cool.
Yeah.
And while I'm not as big of a symbiote fan as you are, I could definitely appreciate nice figures, just like how you appreciate some of the Monkey Kid figures.
No, definitely. I appreciate a lot of like the Ninjago minifigs sometimes. Some of the Monkey Kid ones, we went over this, but yeah, we only have Venom and Carnage, so we gotta diversify a little bit more, because really it's its own thing now. It's not just a Spider-Man villain. He's his own entity. He's his own main character. He ends up defeating Null. He becomes the new King in Black, and it's a whole Venom verse out there. So
well, and what's nice now with the whole direction that Sony's taking Venom as an anti-hero, you can market him more in merchandise or toy form as more of the hero side. So you don't necessarily need Spider-Man versus Venom. You could have Venom versus Riot, or Venom versus Carnage, or like whoever.
Yeah.
And in that way you could, I think, position Venom more as a better seller, because what we've heard before from various sources, with Ninjago especially, is that they make so many good guy builds because the bad guy builds just don't sell as well. People want Lloyd's bike, but they wouldn't fork out as much for a bad guy, Lord Garmadon's bike, maybe, or something like that. So maybe in that way, that's why they're making the Spider-Man sub build such a huge part of these Venom sets, where I don't think you necessarily need to do that as much now if Venom continues to be kind of an anti-hero. So
that's just one of the interesting things about his character in general, is that he is an anti-hero, and then these other characters are put in place, like Carnage, to be so crazy that it makes Venom seem more tame, and so it really brings the hero out in him. So you're right that they really should. They don't need Spider-Man in these like this one and this one. You could not even have Spider-Man in either of these sets. I know I split them with my big sister. She built the Spider-Man part. I built the Venom parts. I don't care one bit for the other parts. But yeah, so much potential. Just have Venom as the protagonist fighting a giant Riot, like a big fig Riot, sort of like this one, each of Venom could be the protagonist. But so there's definitely potential there, and I hope they keep doing it, and I hope the sequel to Venom's really good. And big fan. It is hard to capture like the gooey symbiote nature. He's such a weird nature of Venom. It's hard to capture that in hard plastic form, which is what the designers were kind of saying with the bust. It's hard to have like natural things built out like that. But as far as there's so many good minifigures is the main thing. Finding the right builds is what matters, and I'm a big fan. Thank you.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching Venomverse. We'll see you next time.
Which Venom